Such a hard thing to accumulate, to not even accumulate, to even recognize, bro. I went through an abusive relationship, an emotionally and a physically abusive relationship, and that took a big toll on my psyche. I felt like things could have evolved into something better, and they didn't. My expectations were dashed to the floor, and heart turned to dust. That was a funny time, and the memories of it, the memories of all the times where I felt like I should have fought back, still haunt me, and my mind is like desperately, not desperately, but my mind is trying to rewrite those memories to feel less suffering, right? And there's no point in trying to feel less suffering. It happened to me, and honestly, like I can honestly be thankful for the situation because I just needed to get out, and then started reading books on self-determination, on self-love, and then I realized later on that there was no logical reason why I shouldn't love myself. No, there was no logical reason why. Like, what the fuck is the point? Love is logical, so screw what y'all say. Because a lot of people be describing love like it's some ephemeral shit, like something that can't be defined or measured. And it can only be measured. But it can be defined, it can be recognized in logical form, like everything can. And and I feel like love is simply the desire or the will to do your best with what you have. Essentially, the art and science of doing your best with what you have. Like, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, no matter who you meet, somebody wants to do good for somebody else. Somebody wants to do good for themselves, right? So therefore, what is it not? No matter what your definition of good is. How can I say that? No matter what your definition of good is, and your definition of good is evolving. No matter what it is, no matter who you're talking to, if they desire to do that good onto you, then they are loving you, and that is an act of love, right? So by that logic, how exactly do you find that shit? How do you find love? How do you fight for it? How do you fight for your own desire to do something? Does that make any logical sense to you? How do you fight for your own desire to do your best? How do you chase after love? How do you chase after your desire to do your best? Like, how do you do that shit? How does that make sense? How do you fall in love? How do you fall into your desire to do your best with what you have? How does that happen? No, you're already there. You're already in the most potential zone to do your best. Right now is the time to do your best. So right now is love, therefore, right? Does that make sense to y'all? For those who watch this, does that make sense? Love is simply the desire to do good for yourself and for others, to do good with what you have, to do the best with what you have. What else is there? What else is there to say? No matter what kind of parent you have, no matter what kind of companions you've had, right? If they did some kind of good for you, whether their intention was completely selfish or not, if they've done any good for you in your life, then they have done love for you. I'm sorry if it turned out badly. I'm sorry if you had to leave, or they had to leave, or I'm sorry if you're mourning their loss. I truly am. But but the love was there, and therefore love cannot be. So therefore, can you really say love can be felt? Not really. Satisfaction can be felt. Happiness can be felt. Sadness can be felt. But love can only be done. It can only be performed. There's nothing to feel about it. You can't fight for it. You can't chase it. There are many, and I've known many people who go through these relationships saying, "I thought it was love. Thought it was there. And there was love. If they've done any good for you, in any way, benefited you in any way, then there was love. But their intentions might have shifted. Their intentions the intentions towards them doing you good for the rest of your life wasn't there. So that's just your expectation being trifled on. Doesn't mean that person was right in any way, but at the end of the day, it's about expectation. So yes, so no, and all that. So yeah, so going back to what I was saying before,